to the Breakthrough Show. It's Shirley and Becca. Yes, we love y'all.
Start your day the joyful way. It's your weekday morning talk show inviting you to start your day with a triple shot of good vibes. And now here's your host, the queen of joy herself, Jessica Dugas. Good Wednesday morning, everybody. Happy hump day. I'm still on that, good morning Vietnam vibe. I mentioned yesterday that I had watched the movie. I saw it pop up on my Amazon Prime, and it's such a good movie with Robin Williams. But once you watch it, you have to be careful, because if you have a show or a podcast, you want to do the introduction very differently. So listen, just be warned if you have not seen the movie before. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm tired. I did not sleep well last night. It was the damn sugar is what it was. Yesterday I shared with you guys that it was our two youngest kids' birthday. I mentioned that it was bound to happen with this many people, that somebody eventually would share a birthday. And that's how it happened, 2 years apart. And it was a great day. We took the kids swimming. They obviously did their presents and all of that. And then my daughter, Nina, who is the baker in the household, she being in the kitchen is something that's always been just a lot of fun for me. And also it's a way that I show love. We talk about love languages and things that we like to experience. I like to show love through food. I love to cook for people. And that's one of the things that I think that she has picked up from me. And so at any rate, she has been on this journey to make like the best vegan cakes on the planet. Check out this baby she made yesterday. Just so yummy. So good. It was Oreo. So here's the challenge. When you have two people that share a birthday and you want to make one cake, they get to both decide like what's the flavor of the cake going to be. And so it always ends up with some very interesting combinations. And so year before last, they had each picked something completely different. So we did a 2-tier cake. One had one flavor, one had the other. That was easy. Well, this year, Leah wanted Oreo and Jazzy wanted some kind of fruit. She was like, I want peach. And I was like, listen, I don't know how peach is going to be with the Oreos. Let's pick a different fruit. So she picked cherry. So the inside had like a cherry pie kind of filling. And then it was really, really good. Really, really good. Well done. And of course it was beautiful to look at. And so we brought some over to the neighbor because he was the one that let us go swimming yesterday. And he was like, I'm impressed. Like, this is amazing. And so we're excited. Everybody's been like, when are you going to get her a storefront? And so once we move, that's something we're going to talk about, starting with a cottage license and getting that going. For any of you that don't know what a cottage license is, if you cook or bake or make any kind of food, you can get a license that allows you to do that out of your home to get you started, and then you can move into something else. But I hear the food truck scene is growing pretty rapidly up there in Connecticut, in New London County. And then I was really surprised because there's a fully vegan restaurant in New London, but there's none in Mystic. And Mystic is typically a more like artsy scene. I'm just surprised that there's not one there. So it may be a possibility as we're considering that. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited to continue our summer reading series coming up here. I get to play Vanna White again this morning. Shiraz is here. You guys know him from Rewriting Reality every last It's the last Monday of the month, people, not the 4th. I don't know what you were thinking, but it's the last Monday of every month. Shiraz is here, and we're going to talk about specifically his book, How to Rewrite Your Reality. And I have marked one of my favorite pages over here that we're going to talk about. Shiraz is in the background right now with so many copies of his book. So we are not lacking. We have a copy for all of you here today. Don't worry. So stay tuned for that coming up in a little bit here as well. What else is bringing me joy today? So I mentioned that we're getting ready to move, and I've been doing a countdown on my Facebook page every day. I say how many days until I get up there, not the day we leave, but the day till we get up there, till we're actually on the ground in Connecticut. Okay. So, I was doing this for myself as like a way to pump myself up. But what I have done, see, you guys have heard me complain on the show about how fast time goes. What I have done is I have created a waiting for the water to boil moment for myself here, because every single time I make the post, I'm like, how are we? The time is going so slow. I'm sure I will get to the day that we get there and I'll be like, wow, time went really fast. But it's so funny how, when we talk about time and, in the moment, it can feel very different than on reflection, right? Like in the moment, we could be like, time is dragging on. I don't know what's happening here. And then when we reflect on it, we're like, where did it go? What happened? Who ran away with it? And it's crazy. So I've created that, waiting for the water to boil moment. Every day I post it. And I'm glad, because we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do around here. I was very grateful that we only had very few stipulations to take care of upon the selling of the house. And so that's all been completed now, all of it. So grateful for that. And so now we can actually, now that all the little things are taken care of, we can put everything in the boxes and not have to worry about it. Is this going to not happen? So it's happening. That continues to be my phrase of the month. And so it's moving forward just slowly, because that's what I recommend. If you want time to go slowly, literally post a countdown every single day. And then you'll be like, it's as slow as it can possibly get right now. Chris is out in the audience this morning. Good morning, Chris. It is good to see you today. I hope you are doing well. Let me know what the weather is doing up there in the north. I'll have to ask Shiraz. I heard it was hot as hell up there in Canada yesterday. That their temperature was matching ours down here in Alabama, which is always a weird thing. Like you see, in the winter in particular, we're still in t-shirts here, and they've got like 3 feet of snow up there. But in the summer, it's so weird to me that the temperatures are starting to match up. It's that global warming thing going on. I think, I don't know is what I have no idea. Just sounded good. So I'll be interested to find out about that. But Heather Clark sent me some pictures yesterday of her lettuce that she was growing, and because you all went from cold up there to warm, and it was like the lettuce, it was my spirit vegetable in that moment. It was literally laying there in the pot like, I could never with this heat. It was just the most funny thing to me. And I said, listen, I feel that lettuce right now, because that's how I feel when I walk out of the house. Almost over 100 degrees heat index every day here this week. And no. Just no. And it's so funny, because when we've had like inspectors or whatever coming through with selling our house, they're always like, the southern folks can't understand why the hell we're going back up north. They just don't understand. And they're like, so you're going back up to Connecticut, huh? And I'm like, yep. He's like, well, I guess it's a good time for that, because it's hot outside. I'm like, yep, it is. It is. And that is a huge reason, because I just can't. I melt outside. What else do we have going on today? There's a couple really good birthdays happening today that I'm excited to share about with you later on. So we'll be talking about that as well. But we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with our guest, Shiraz. Don't go anywhere.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Today is Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022, 6222222. Really excited to have one of our fellow Breakthrough Show Network hosts on with us this morning. He's the author of How to Rewrite Your Reality. And he even has a quote on here, a specific quote about the book from Jack Canfield himself. Very excited to ask him about that as well. I'm excited to dig into a little bit of the creation of the book and how it happened and all that good stuff, because he has other things that he writes and stuff as well. But anyway, excited to have him here today. So without further ado, let's bring out Shiraz. I can't believe you're awake. It's happening.
The music was coming. I was just getting into that music, and then you stopped it. Oh.
I'm sorry. It's just a transition piece, guy. That's all it is. That's all it is. I'm excited to have you here this morning, as always, and that grateful that you're awake, because you're not necessarily up early. That's not that's not the story you write for yourself.
No, and you think I'm awake. This is just autopilot right now.
Well, you've been doing a lot of traveling and stuff lately too, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think a different state every month.
Something like that. Something like that. How do you deal with the traveling and the time changes and everything else? Like because I was talking before about time and how you can do you feel like you can form time to what you want it to be as well?
Not as often as I like, but yeah. Definitely. I don't usually get that affected by jet lag, but also there's situations where I need to be someplace, and I just adjust either the physical, like somehow I get there faster in the same amount of time, or sometimes it just feels like, well, I've been traveling for half an hour and I look at the clock and it's like, oh, it's only been 15 minutes. What the hell happened there? And it can be fun when you start playing with elements of reality like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it ties the idea of creating what you want with time really does tie into, what you teach about rewriting your reality. And it really is what you make of it. Like I've been going this whole time, like when we started the process of selling this house, I said in the beginning, this is going to come up really fast. Like this is going to, and it was making my head spin. So I don't know where I got the idea to do this countdown, but then as soon as I started doing that, it's like, it's going so slow. It's never going to get here now. So, but I got what I asked for.
You got it. And it's interesting because of your perspective as well, because every time I see an update, I'm like, are we already there? How fast is this happening? This is crazy.
I know. And I'm trying to stop myself from thinking that, because then I panic. I'm like, oh God, it's happening. It's coming. And I think I do that with myself. I recognize from my own life that the stories that I've created have completely been like a survival mode kind of thing, like a way to make myself feel better in any given moment. So do you find that that's the case with most people with the stories, that they're just trying to make themselves feel good in the moment?
99% of the world.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So,
Yeah.
and it's crazy, because when you get out of that and just be in the space of just allowing whatever happens to happens, then more magic shows up.
Right.
But because it's like, no, it's got to be exactly the way I want it. This is the only way I'm going to be happy, and this is what I believe is right. Just constriction.
Well, we want to be right. We've talked, I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've talked about that on this show. Humans just want to be right. We want to be right about it all.
They do. They love being right. Fortunately, I'm always right, so it works.
Yeah. I say that to myself. I love being right. And then something will come along making me be right that I didn't want to be right about. And I'm like, damn, you see what I did there? It's horrible.
But you got to be right. That was the important thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's so we are ridiculous humans. I'm just saying. I made a post on my page. I was scrolling back to see if I could find it really quickly. Here. As soon as you say my child would never, here they come nevering like they've never before. Like
yes.
I loved that this week, because it's true. We sit here and say, that's why I get such a laugh when people who don't have kids are like, when I have a child, they will never, you're cute. That's adorable.
Yeah,
just by you saying that, you're setting yourself up for that to happen.
And that's like, it sounds like, oh yeah, well, if you say it's going to happen, but it technically is, because all your energy is on the thing. Even though you attached a never in front of it, it's still all your energy is on that thing.
Yeah.
And so, okay, it's going to happen.
Right. I mean, it can be, I think it's challenging. My biggest challenge with looking at shifting your stories and beliefs and all of that has been with the physical experiences. So when you're talking about shifting different health things, and I know that was part of your journey as well, it's hard. Like if you're experiencing a physical sensation that hurts, it's hard to not focus on that. And like, you can be like, you think, okay, I want to focus on this. And so want to say that it's going to go away, but it's hard to just, go on with life and not think about what you're physically experiencing. So what's your perspective on that? Because sometimes, I mean, it's easy to say, look, just don't focus on it. But there are moments like, I remember a great example of this is because we had the birthdays yesterday of the girls, was childbirth. And I went through hypno birthing, a whole thing to teach you how to get out of like what you're experiencing. But I will tell you, it is real hard in the moment to not think about that level of pain.
Okay. Before I answer that, you just made me remember something. There was a woman that had set up to be hypnotized during childbirth to not feel any pain.
Right.
And so the hypnotist was there, and they were taking her through the process, and she was having this wonderful childbirth without pain, until a nurse walked in, saw what was going on, and goes, "Oh, that looks painful." And the words just snapped her right out in the middle of the childbirth. And they're like, thanks so much.
Yeah.
But with the pain, it's hard to grasp, especially when you're resisting the pain so much, but pain is inevitable. And if you're in some sort of chronic pain, you can resist it and resist and resist it and make it worse. Or you can and this is hard. It's not easy. You can get to a place of acceptance, but also ask, why have I decided to create this? Because you're creating everything. And oftentimes when the answers start to come up, because sometimes it's not just one thing, there's a whole bunch of reasons that you're sick or in pain or whatever it is, the release starts to happen because now you're fully becoming present to the pain rather than trying to push it away all the time.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think when I was talking about the sleep thing last week, I was sharing that I'll go into my neurology appointment on Fridays and be like, okay, this, and this is going on. What can I do? Like, how can I fix it? And last week I was like, I just don't want to fix it. Like, just because it takes so much energy. And I recognize that in myself that I'm a fixer. Like, you give me a problem and I will fix it. And then we know from your book, How to Rewrite Your Reality, if you're a fixer, you're going to create shit to fix.
Yep. And what's interesting with this book is called How to Rewrite Reality, not How to Rewrite Your Reality. Right. And I'm not trying to correct you. I'm trying to, this is really funny because the reason I didn't put the your in was for the URL, because as soon as you put your with the rewrite, then you've got two R's together, which means you have to get the URL that has one R and two R's because people make typos. And because there's a 2, you've got to put the 2 and the 2 with the TO. So I would end up having to buy 4 URLs if I got How to Rewrite Reality or How to Rewrite Your Reality. So I just took it off. So I only had to get 2 URLs, but everyone keeps calling it How to Rewrite Your Reality. So I had to go buy those 4 as well. So now I've got 6 URLs all pointing to the same thing. So.
You're welcome. That's all. And I'm so used to it when you read it. And also knowing what we know about personal and spiritual development, the only reality we have any control over is our own. So
I learned
we're just trying to help you.
I learned a lesson.
See, you fought back against that reality that you didn't have any more URLs to buy, and we were just trying to help you out. That's all it was. That's all it was. But with the book, it's a really easy read. We're not talking about War and Peace here. And yet it is some of the most profound. I think I probably read it 6 or 7 times. I don't know, a lot. Because it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's one of those things that you read and you might have shifted to another archetype or another story or another whatever. And so when you read it again, you're like, oh, well, before that was me and now this is me and I've moved to this level and how do I fix that kind of thing. But it's one that I feel like you can keep going back and there will be something else that pops out for you. Did you plan when you got into the work that you were doing with energetic magnets? Did you plan on writing a book from the beginning, or was it just something that you decided to do later?
I actually, it was this chain of events from me going to the Abraham Hicks cruise, and on the cruise, people are coming up and talking to Abraham, and whenever they ask a question, the answer would pop into my head, and then I'd hear it come out of Abraham's mouth. And I'm like, I could do this. There's 1,100 people here on a cruise to see Abraham, and I could give the exact same answers. I should be on a cruise, except no one really knows I'm out there. So how do I get people to know I'm out there? And then the next conference I went to, Raymond Aaron was there saying, if no one knows you're out there, you need a book. A book is a great way to get people to know who the hell you are. And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to do that. So I ended up writing the book, and it was weird because it wasn't writing the book per se, because there was a lot of information in the book that didn't exist before I decided to sit down and write the book. The whole concept of genres did not exist. That just basically downloaded into me while I was reading the book. And there was a whole bunch of other things that just showed up in the book. And like to this day, sometimes people would go, that thing you said in chapter 9 about this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I have no recollection of writing that and putting it in the book. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how you know that it was kind of divinely led, so to speak, because it just happened. And I'm the same way. I'll give, I'll be doing a reading or even just a Reiki session. I'll experience. I'll have to record it or take a note immediately, and sometimes that doesn't even work. And because I have no clue what just happened, and I'm the same way when I'm on a podcast too. I just completely blank out, and they're like, "That was great." I'm like, "Glad you think so." I have no idea what just happened. No idea. Sharon said, good morning to you. Yes, I got out of the fix-it business and the creating fixing business, and I have never felt better. Always good. I'm not there yet. I'm trying. But I keep focusing on it is the problem. So you ended up writing the book, and it goes through. I'll let you go through and tell everybody, because now that we know that you don't know what's actually in the book, this is going to be a lot of fun. Tell everybody what they can find in the book.
Let me get to the table of contents. So one of the ideas I did have as I started to write the book was, the subtitle is Becoming the Author of the Stories of Your Life. So everything in the book is set up in the metaphor of stories. So chapter 1, reality, is just a bunch of stories. Chapter 2 is your backstory, then your genre, then your archetype, your purpose, your supporting characters, past, present, and future tense. Now that's a double meaning, because in the past, present, and future, most people are tense.
Yeah.
That's about driving the narrative, plot holes, and happily ever after. And it all just, I decided to do it this way because I've read some spirituality books and self-help books, and sometimes the concepts get really high or convoluted, and everyone understands stories. And it's filled with stories too, as well as not just the concepts, but it's got actual stories in it. So
so my favorite paragraph of the whole book, it's so funny you brought up chapter 9, because it's in chapter 9. So I know you don't know what's in chapter 9, but I'm gonna fill you in. So let me read the part that I always keep going back to, and then I'm going to explain why and have you chime in on that. So but my story is different. This is a common yet amusing belief people have. You want to get out of your current story, but at the same time, you want to make it difficult. Other people have similar stories to you, and it's obvious to you how they can get out of their stories, but your story is different. If it were the same as everyone else's, then you would be as stupid or as incompetent, or insert whatever adjectives you use for them here. Your ego tells you not to admit that you can easily step out of the story, because whatever adjective you're applying to them, you have to apply to yourself. You can make your story so different and powerful that you can never get out of it. This will leave you frustrated consciously, but subconsciously feeling like the most powerful person you know. So that's a whole mouthful there. The reason I keep going back to that is because, being here a host on the network, is that the Breakthrough Show was founded on the concept of storytelling, of telling our story. And there is a vast difference between people who come on the network and are sharing their story, but they've been able to detach from it and they're out of it now, and people who are sharing their story and are clearly still in it.
Yes.
There's a big difference. And my challenge personally has been to detach myself, because my part of my challenge has been in dealing with outside people who want real. I think a lot of people outside of us want to keep us in our stories because it's uncomfortable for them if they have to get to know a different you.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's why they do it. Even if they support what you're doing, they get uncomfortable because you're changing.
Yeah.
Hi, Juju. Yeah. And they may not even try to do things consciously, but unconsciously they're going to make you feel really, really uncomfortable so that they can get back to that. Oh, this feels comfortable. You're not successful anymore. That's good. Yeah. And then they'll say things like, you need to become successful. You need to try to build a business. And then, as soon as you start doing that, I'm uncomfortable again. They're actually doing it. We're a weird race.
We are weird. And I've been really trying very hard in recent years to separate myself from people who keep trying to hold me to Jessica that was 10 years ago. Because I don't want to be in that story anymore. I want to be in a different story. But it keeps being this thing that's coming up and I'm like, then I don't need to be around you because you keep trying to put me back there. And I'm a very easily influenced person, and I don't like that about myself.
So the secret then is to keep changing.
Yeah.
Right. And that because then they get used to the constant change that is you.
Mm.
Right. When I was growing up, the big thing with me is I kept trying to do like what my family interpreted as crazy, stupid things. Like when I went to Japan, I was working at a full-time job at Oracle Corporation, full benefits, everything. And I had this opportunity to go to Japan and work for $1,000 a month as an intern. And everyone's like, "Are you insane? Why would you do that? Don't leave a stable, secure job to go gallivanting off in another country for 6 months, and then you come home without a job." But I'm like, I've been wanting to go since I was 12, so I just left. And I came back, and when I got back, I was having lunch with my old boss, and she offered my job back with a raise and a promotion. And I'm like, "You're giving me a raise and a promotion for leaving and living in Japan?" She goes, "Yeah." Okay, yeah, let's do that. And I went to Germany. People said, "Don't go there." I went to Australia. The job in Australia was half the salary as the job I would have had if I'd stayed in Canada. But I went there, and because they ran out of work for me at the location I was at, they made me move to different locations and work throughout Australia and paid all my expenses. So when I did the math, it was the equivalent of twice the salary they were actually paying me, which means everything worked out. And so eventually when I said, "Oh, I'm going to do this," everyone just goes, "Yeah, whatever. Just do it." Because they'd given up. They're like, just let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Shiraz is going to Shiraz, so we'll let him Shiraz.
Yeah, but I went through that pushback over and over years.
Yeah.
Until they just got used to, this is who I am. Deal with it.
Mm. Yeah, do you ever like, okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that you just are, and people either fall in or they don't. Do you ever feel like you need to explain yourself with what you're doing, or was that ever a thing for you?
It was, and now it isn't.
Yeah.
I sent out an email to my mailing list last week, I think. That started off with, it had to be earlier because it said, "Oh God, it's June already."
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. And I got a reply from one person saying, "I can't believe you started your email swearing." And I'm like, "Swearing? Oh, she's religious." And I started off with, "Oh God." And I said, "Would OMG be better?" And she's like, "No, because it's still implied." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I said, "Well, that was interesting." Yeah. I'm still going to say it every now and then. I'm not going to suddenly adjust who I am in my entire mailing list for this one person that's really, really sensitive. If she gets upset again, she's not my person. She can unsubscribe. But I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm offending people." Right? I have to stop that. I have to stop being me because apparently who I am offends people. And I got news for you. Who you are offends people no matter what you do. Right? You just got to hang out with the right people.
Right. Well, and I think too, what I want to say about that, because you and I had a conversation around that time too. And, I think there's a lot of people who we've gotten accustomed to when we do something that offends them, we think in our head, well, they're automatically don't like all of us. Something's going to happen. There's going to be a blowout. We start catastrophizing all of this stuff. And what I found about myself is like, there may be something that like someone does that bothers me or that I feel like I need to speak up about, but that doesn't change like the level of respect that I have for them in different areas. It doesn't change that I like them whatever the situation is. And so, when I part of my challenge in learning to speak up for myself is that I automatically, I'm sort of doing the same thing where I'm going, if I speak up for myself, they're going to think that I don't like them anymore, and it's going to be horrible. And so now I'm catastrophizing the whole situation.
Okay. Stop that.
That's what happened. Stop it. Just stop it. Juju says, just surround yourself with the right positive people. And sometimes, we try to do that, but then people change, everybody changing and growing and all of that. And I shared before about that situation where I had a person in my life that I was friends with when we were younger because our parents were friends. And then as I got older, I'm like, I really don't like this person. And it's hard. It's hard then we have to go, is this the right positive person for me at this place in my life?
Yeah. The hardest part about that is there's still a section of our brain that reacts as though we're still cavemen. And if you get exiled or outed from the tribe, you die. You're subject to the wilderness. And that part's still running. So when you start to come to an understanding, is this my caveman brain just freaking out because I might be alone and die? Then you're like, okay, you know what? That's not going to happen. I don't have to react this badly to this situation. Right. And it would be nice if we could just shut that off. But it hasn't evolved out of our system yet. We haven't gone through enough. Maybe in another 200-300 years, it'll be gone. But
right.
Here we are.
Well, I have to tell you, as far as the book is concerned, and I mentioned this a couple times during this series as well. There's a lot of things that can come up for people, stories that people are running about writing books themselves. That, I'm not a good writer. Nobody's going to listen to me, whatever it is that we're running. And one of those things, about not being a great writer or really getting caught up in some of these different stories is the actual act of writing and putting it off and everything else. And you were the one that for me was like, why don't you just record yourself saying a story and then translate it later?
Yep.
And I was just like, oh. What?
It's crazy.
That's allowed? Like, but we do. It's a metaphor for what we do to ourselves where stories are concerned. When we create these stories for ourselves, we can't think of anything else other than what we've created.
And the crazy thing with this book was I was like, the way I did the book was I wrote the names of the chapters down. I just sort of said, this is what I figured the chapters can be. And then I wrote a whole bunch of points that I'd like to have in each chapter. And then I just sat down and started writing the book. And for me, this first book was a mixture. Sometimes I'd just be writing because I just get caught up in the writing. And sometimes I'd just be talking and dictating and putting it down. But then I announced I was going to do a course called How to Rewrite Reality, a 3-day course where we're going to go intense into the concepts of the book. And I had a whole bunch of people sign up for the course. Now I hadn't finished the book yet. And life got busy. So by the time the course came up, I'd only written 6 of the 10 chapters. And so I couldn't bring the book to the course. And I hadn't finished the last 4 chapters. I just had the points. So day 1 and 2, they went really well. But there was this growing panic as we get to day 3. And day 3, I just turned on the recorder and started talking based on the points, and then took the entire day, put it in voice to text. And that's what you see written there is everything I said to them that day. And I was just like, wait, the last 4 chapters took 8 hours. So why can't I just do this all the time when I write?
Yeah. And even like Brian mentioned yesterday, and then this is breaking news, you can even hire somebody to transcribe it for you. Like,
you can, but if you do this on Zoom, they've got automatic transcription services. So in my email, literally after I do a Zoom session, it says the transcription is now available. I'm like, well, then I just go through and you have to read because sometimes what you say is not what gets transcribed. I know
Yeah.
many times I say believe and Zoom writes police. And so
That's a different
that's a
book.
problem.
It's a different
Yeah,
story.
it's a different book entirely. But yeah, you can get someone else to transcribe it. You can get Zoom to do it. YouTube automatically transcribes things now. It's just that it's going to be it has to be public for it to be transcribed. So go to a channel no one goes to, or create a channel no one has, put it public, and then when it's done, you've got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so easy now to do this, and
Yeah.
literally, I was making money because people paid to come to a course where I talked and created the book. So I paid myself to write the book.
That's a life hack right there. Right there. You don't need a publisher. You don't need somebody to come to you. You can just pay yourself to write the book. I think that's great as well. What has been some of your favorite feedback that you've gotten about the book? How to rewrite reality minus the your.
I think one of the things I love is many people have said you can read it in a night or you can read it in a year. Because sometimes you hit a paragraph and you just, what? And you absorb it and you reread it and you just keep pulling more and more out of that paragraph. And so that time can just stretch. Yeah. Or if you want, one of my current clients, when I met her we were at the airport and we're talking and I said, well, I've got this book. And then she called me 2 days later and said, I read the book. Let's work together. And I'm like, well, that was easy. But it's just, it can be that quick to get through the information. And again, when like with you, you go back and read it again and you're like, oh, damn, there's that. And for a lot of books, especially self-help books, each time you read it, you can get something different because you've shifted, like you were talking about. And I remember reading books where I'm like, I've never read that paragraph. I've read this book 4 times. I've never seen that paragraph before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, it is one of those things I keep going back to read it again. And it also, in our relationships with other people, I've also found that it helps me in those because through the behavior of someone else, I can kind of tell what kind of stories they're running. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push that button, or maybe I am.
Yes, that's one of the things I like to push the button. Oh, is that what you just said? Let's go there.
We're going all the way to the penthouse today. Push all. It reminds me of the scene in Elf when he gets in the elevator and he just goes like this on the buttons, and we're just going to all the floors. That's where we're going. I love it. Well, do you have any plans to write more books? Like, what are your plans for writing in the future?
I actually have Tuesdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. blocked out for writing. So I'm writing every single week.
Nice.
I'm currently working on 2 novels and I got to get going on my sequel to How to Rewrite Reality, which is So That's Where You Are.
I want to read that one. I'm going to be front row for the release of that one. Other thing I wanted to ask you, because I mentioned it in the beginning, is you got Jack Canfield to have a little quote up there. It says, I think for most people, their realities are the stories they're caught up in. We need to rewrite our stories. So how did that happen?
I was actually at Jack's house. I did a 5-minute interview with him. The video's up on YouTube. And Jack is amazing. He was doing a bunch of interviews that day, and he was as present and caring for the first one as he was for the last one. And and the energy in his house, oh my God, I just did not want to leave. But the funny thing about that interview was that after we were done and the camera got shut off, we stood up, we were shaking hands, and he looks at me and goes, hey, you're a really good looking guy. There it is. It had to go on the book.
And see, this is okay. So this is what I love about Shiraz, and I've loved about Shiraz since the moment I met him, is he is unapologetically himself. And I the entire book reads as if you're having a conversation with Shiraz. There is nothing about this book that makes you go, who is this that I'm reading? Because sometimes with people, them, and then you read a book of theirs and you're like, this has got to be like a ghostwriter or something. But this is Shiraz in I don't know how many, in 101 pages. It's Shiraz. That's it, in a book. I bet you didn't know you had 101 pages.
I knew it was 100-ish. I didn't know exactly.
Yeah. Juju's here for pushing all the buttons as well. Just push all the buttons. Go to all the floors. That's what we're here for. I love it. Okay, so are you going to stick around for our birthdays, or are you off for your day?
I guess I can stick around. I'm awake now, so
Okay.
Might as well stay awake.
Now he's awake. Okay, so we'll take a break, you guys, and we'll be right back. By the way, when we visit our friends at Weiss Scholarship Foundation really quickly here today, it's actually Brett Weiss's birthday. So we're going to wish him a happy birthday as we learn about them, and we'll be right back after this.
Imagine a world where every child gets a great education. Educating all children is the only way to end poverty. This is what the Weiss Scholarship Foundation is working to accomplish. Our 6 staff members, our mentors and coordinators, who are on the ground in Kenya, are totally engaged in every aspect of our students' lives, so we can give them every opportunity for success. In just a few short years, we have already awarded 141 scholarships. We send children to high school who would have never gone without our support. And then we help them go on to either university or vocational school. We have already scaled our holistic business model to 4 locations and are ready to scale it to many more. Today it's Kenya, but tomorrow it's more countries. Please contribute what you can today. You can make a one-time donation, a recurring donation, or choose to sponsor a child all on your own for all 4 years of high school for just $3,500. Go to our website, www.weissscholarshipfoundation.org.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. It is a Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. We're here with Shiraz this morning. And even though you're this funny guy that does the memes all the time on your Facebook page and likes to push all the buttons in the elevator, there's a sensitive side to you too, which comes out in the very last paragraph of your book. It says, I want you to create the reality you truly desire. I want you to get out of struggle and into the flow. Remember that once you make that firm decision on how your reality is going to look, Source has no choice but to reflect that decision back and change the world around you. I've done this for myself, and I've helped thousands do it for themselves, so I know how it works. Now it's your turn. Step out of your old stories, let go of your limiting beliefs, and rewrite your reality. Then we got it. Where's my tissues? Somebody move my tissue box. It's a sentimental moment. Do you ever get emotional at all thinking about the lives that have been changed through this book and your work?
I do. I just realized that I ended that wrong.
Just take the sappy moment, Shiraz, and stomp it into the.
I just realized that I should have said, and rewrite your reality, and you'll live happily ever after.
Yeah. See, we needed
the
that.
end of the chapter. It's the end of the book. Missed opportunity.
I see a rewrite.
Yeah, there we go. Now I got to rewrite reality. But yeah, there's like some of the things my clients have done, the changes they've made in their lives has been so profound, and they've found empowerment, they found happiness, and sometimes it's just finding acceptance in places that they said they swore they never would, and it just makes them happier.
Yeah. I love it. Well, we want you to visit energeticmagic.com. In addition to do you have the link for the book on there?
How to rewrite reality.com, how to with the 2 rewrite reality.com, how to rewrite your reality.com, how to rewrite with the 2 reality.com, how to rewrite
I want to test
with
this
only
out.
1 r.reality.com.
I'm having a moment. Please hold. I'm testing this out. Okay, so I just want to tell you, you missed one.
Oh, did I? Gotta buy
How
another?
the number 2
Yeah.
rewrite your reality.com.
Oh, no, I bought it. Maybe it's just not pointing right. I know I own it.
Okay, well, it's not pointing.
Okay, I'll go fix that.
Oh, Juju's crying
Oh,
too. She
you know
needs a
what?
tissue.
Last month I switched servers. I think I'm still pointing the ones that aren't active to the old server. Good thing I'm on here now. I have something to do.
Yes,
So-
that's what I'm here. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you fill up your schedule. So obviously your other website is energeticmagic.com, where people can learn about you and the work that you do. What else can they find there? You still have monthly magic? You have monthly magic, right?
The monthly magic program. Yep.
Yeah.
So you can learn how to create magic every month. We have, I have a book club now. I don't know if you know that. So we're going through, ironically, not my book. We're going through Dr. Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And once a month we get together, read a couple paragraphs, and then just suck all the juice out of those paragraphs. And we just started. It's a lot of fun. And the other thing is Ignite Your Success, which happens the second Monday. I have something every Monday, every month. and Ignite Your Success, I give you some concepts, and then I work directly on 2 people that are attending and shift their reality.
Very nice. Very nice. And that's shifted a little bit from how your Mondays used to be. You used to work from
9 a.m. to 11 p.m.
dawn to way past dusk.
But it was just the one Monday. Now I've sort of spread it out amongst the Mondays.
Yeah. Wise, I think, on the energy level. But it reminds me of Chris Burns, and he used to do every Wednesday. He did the 20 or 12-hour marathon podcast. So they like literally a 12-hour podcast. And then, I mean, it was smart the way he did it because he chopped it up. But everybody's like, "Aren't you exhausted at the end of a Wednesday?" Did you feel exhausted at the end of a Monday?
I was very, very tired at the end of the Monday.
Yeah. And then last Monday of every month, you have something going on.
Oh, I have a podcast called Rewriting Reality, hosted on the Breakthrough Show Network.
Yes. It's a thing.
It's very, very cool. I get to play with other coaches. They coach me, I coach them.
Yeah. I will tell you, I was really, really excited when you started doing that, your show in that format, because it is really exciting to see that. And it has this sort of secondary lesson energy, if you will, of we don't need to be afraid of networking and partnering with people who do similar things to us.
Yeah.
Because there's room for everybody. Like, I don't know a lot of people that'd be like, "Hey, come do your job that's like my job on my show so that you can get more clients." I don't know a lot of people that would say that.
Yeah. And I had fun, especially Lisa Brewer. She and I swapped in the same week. And
that was so fun.
Oh, yeah. It was great. And we're going to have to do it again. Again.
Yeah. Lisa was amazing. And, I find that funny how we, we guest on other shows, and then we're like, at the end, they're like, "Okay, tell us about what you do." And you're like, "Oh, I have a book and I have this coaching." And then somebody's like, "Well, you have a show too, don't you?" And we all of us do, every single one of us do that. And we need to stop. Do you know anybody that has a birthday today, Shiraz?
No.
Nobody that has.
I mean, I can go to Facebook and it'll tell me.
Yeah. So in the celebrity world, Meryl Streep's birthday is today. Carson Daly, and it's really funny because I remember in the 90s, Carson Daly was a big deal. Everybody knew who Carson Daly was. And then that's what happens when I push buttons. on my sound maker. So everybody knew who Carson Daly was. And now when I go to look up celebrities' birthdays, the celebrity birthday site that I go to has like it goes by popularity, and Carson Daly is like at the end of the list. It's so sad.
Oh,
So sad. He's clearly not manifesting the right reality. Maybe he wants to be at the bottom of the list. I don't know. No idea. It's also Cyndi Lauper's birthday. Do you like Cyndi Lauper's music, Shiraz?
I like to have fun.
Girls just want to have fun.
They do.
Yes. Facebook is the birthday calendar, Juju. Yes. So I also mentioned that it is Brett Weiss's birthday. Happy birthday, Brett Weiss. He's going to be joining us on the show on Tuesday because he just came back from Kenya and had gone out, and he has the foundation out there. So it's awesome. He got a chance to go out, and also he met Olivia Ambani, and I had seen the pictures, but I didn't realize that they had taken a video. So I'm going to show you guys that video on Tuesday as well. It is my friend Nick Rempert's birthday, Sarah Gill, Cindy Hively, Court Nicole, and Carol Kabali's birthday today as well. Thank you for laughing at myself. I have really great sound effects. See, you guys see me do the birthdays and you think that all I have is the drum roll and the applause, but no, I have lots of amazing sound effects on here.
I just realized, because I've been looking at the corner of my eye here, I thought Ugly Pretty Chick Tube kept saying Mandy in the chat, but that's part of the name.
That's Mandy. That's Mandy. And we sang to Mandy last Friday when it was Barry Manilow's birthday, and I did my Barry Manilow medley. Oh, Mandy. And it was her birthday, and that was what made it amazing. Anyway,
when I came on and you had that summer reading thing, I'd be like, summer reading happened so fast. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised you haven't done that yet, or maybe you haven't. I just missed it.
Maybe I'll do it for the wrap up on Monday. I will, because see, people don't know this about me, but I have written several music parodies. I did the Chris Brown Busta Rhymes hit "Look at Me Now." I actually rewrote into a rap about couponing.
Okay.
We're clipping coupons. Look at me now. You don't even know. Okay, so
that's what we call a discount rap.
That will not be performed live on the show. I tell you that much. That's been a long time now, but that's what we do.
That must be performed.
Not happening.
With the rest of the people on the Breakthrough Network clipping coupons like your back.
We'll be like the Supremes. It'll be great. Okay, so let's get our birthday song on. Shiraz, I expect to hear you singing. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Mr.
Meryl
President.
Streep, Cyndi Lauper, Carson Daly, Brett Weiss, Nick Rempert, Sarah Gill, Cindy Hively, Court Nicole, and Carol Kabali.
And
Happy birthday to you. Yes. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. No, you people are not. This is not. There will be no petition happening. No. No, but I might write one. I might write one to finish off summer reading when we do our summer reading review on Monday.
Okay.
That'll be great. That'll be great. Okay, so we want everybody to visit energeticmagic.com where you can find out about Shiraz and what he does, and basically type in, by the end of the day, because now Shiraz has something to do, you could type in any variation of the title of his book and find out the book. It's how to rewrite reality, not your. Just reality in general.
Yet it is.
So good. So good. Thank you for being here, my friend. I appreciate you. And we will be looking forward to your show coming up next Monday. Who's on your show Monday? Do you know?
Karen Eit. She.
I
got Karen Eit. All right. I do it all the time. But
What's she
she
do?
works with personality types. So oftentimes when we're talking, we talk based on our personality type, and there are 4 groups. So you're missing 3/4 of the audience as far as connection goes.
Oh,
And she teaches you how to talk to connect with all 4 quarters.
oh, that's exciting. I'm gonna tune in for that. That's 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, June 27th, 2022. Thank you for being here today, Shiraz. It was a great time, and we will have
They had
stories
the
to
yelling
tell.
minion in the background there.
Yeah. There's craziness happening here. I think they're still wired on the cake from yesterday.
I love that as soon as it turned 9 o'clock, it's like they knew we can talk.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That means it's time to go. Thank you guys for being here today. For all of you watching or listening around the world, I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time.
You've been tuned in to Project Joy Live with Jessica Dugas, your weekday morning talk show, inviting you to start your day with a triple shot of good vibes only on the Breakthrough Show Network. Binge all past episodes of Project Joy at projectjoypodcast.com. Until next time, help us spread the joy by sharing this episode, and we'll see you soon.